It's pretty amazing every time you find amazing, creative, unique minds who have a certain specific medium of actually expressing themselves. One of those mediums they actually use in expressing themselves is through the medium of spoken poetry. I never seem to get enough of that. Well, when it comes to something you're really not good at, you can't help but appreciate it and just celebrate it when you find people who are good at it. And talking about spoken poetry, that is definitely one platform we'll be starting up on the show. However, before we get into that, I say to you, welcome. It is very much creative platform, and I am Sephiny Smart. I'll take a short break, and when I come back, it'll be time to start seeing all this exciting, unique, creative minds. You know, creative minds that just seem to do their thing and do it extremely well through that medium of spoken poetry.
Sometimes silence is the loudest kind of noise, like sometimes it was best when girls were girls and boys were boys, like back when freeze tag was a mating dance, like back when do-over meant you got another chance, like back when anxiety was worrying if Wonder Woman would make it out alive, like back when freedom was sliding backwards on a slide, like back when success was jumping off a swinging, landing on your feet, then doing it all again, like new shoes made you run faster, like getting Miss Gross again for math was a disaster, like failure was a word we hadn't even learned to spell yet, like promises were sealed and kept with pinky bets, like a challenge was a double dare, like ugly was a cockeyed stare and you liked it like when you flipped your eyelids inside out to impress that boy across the room, cause that's all it took, and there was no such thing as too soon as long as you checked the right box in that note from across the room, the one that he passed her back when, I don't know, maybe was a legitimate answer, back when I need space meant he needed more elbow room to draw, so he got on the floor and he colored outside the lines like the lines of color were on the floor, so we just existed in sandboxes and playgrounds and we hopscotches and we dodgeballs, and everything I needed to know I learned in a shopping mall, like don't wander off on your own, like know who you are, like know where you came from, like never let go of your mother's hand no matter what you do, like if you get lost, just stand there until someone finds you, and someone will always look for you because someone will always miss you, and someone will always find you, and when you cry, someone will always remind you in that quiet, quiet lullaby voice that sometimes silence is the loudest kind of noise.
Thoughts. Rotating bodies, confusion of sound, negative imagery holding us down, social delusion, clearly constructed, human condition, morals corrupted, trapped in reaction, lawlessness, war, dissatisfaction from bowels to core, devil's technology, strategy for, human mythologies, urban folklore, sicker psychology, counterfeit cure, wicked theology robbing the poor, scheme demonology mislead the pure, stricken strategically studying war, light shown in darkness, image exposed, few can see through the new emperor's clothes, lustful this hustle turns humans to hoes, When the blind lead the blind, just more trouble and woes. It's the mind that they chose. It's designed to stay closed. Standards of jokers, court jester logic, cyclic and cosmic from schoolyard to college. Primitive man in his civilized knowledge. System collapse and he still won't acknowledge. God is the savior, studies behavior, trying to fix the mixed mind that he gave you. Stiff-necked scholars on prescription meds, wishing their problems was all in their heads. Moral dilemma, pride at the root, misguided from youth, heart divided from truth. Egyptians and Grecians, spiritually dead, empirically led by the good gods in their heads. Motives and thoughts, industrial wealth, global economy in it for self. Heart full of madness, covered with kind, pleasure designed to take over your mind. Furnished in godliness, painted in good, this tainted priesthood's got real saints misunderstood. While classes in government set up the veil and cultivate minds for more mythical tales. Typical Hollywood, follies, good girl, while vice and corruption take over the world. Motives and thoughts. Check your motives and thoughts. Blind with the wickedness deep in your heart. Modern day wickedness is all you've been taught. Lie to your neighbor so you get ahead. Modern day trickery is all you've been fed. Motives and thoughts. Check your motives and thoughts. Thank you.
Lately, I've been living with spiders. But as roommates go, they haven't been so bad. The one in the bathroom keeps to his side of the tiles, and the one in the bedroom, well, he can get a little bit grabby, but for the most part, he keeps his hands to himself. I guess all the hairsprays and car engines finally caught up with us because the pollution here is so bad the sky glows orange from 5 p.m. all the way through night till morning. Some people think it's disgusting that you can wash off what you thought was a tan, but me, I can't help but fall in love with a city that has 15 hours of twilight. If I ever have a grunge rock band, I will name it Beautiful Pollution. Outside the city, the dark is so dark, it is easy to forget which day is Tuesday. But the night there were dry lightning storms, it was like strobe lights through the window. I went outside and stood with my face up, smiling. I thought God was taking photographs. And even though I felt silly standing there in my underwear, I figured I needn't be embarrassed. He's seen me and a whole lot less. Some nights, I wake up with a black hole in my stomach. It echoes like a beatboxing hurricane and burns like a grandmother's memory. I tried Pepsid AC. It didn't help. I gave a haircut with big sloppy scissors and even made it look sort of nice. Everybody knew it was just a courtesy cut anyway. It probably wouldn't do much for the lice or the bed bugs. I've been searching for my favorite constellations everywhere, but I haven't seen any sign of them yet. The spaces between stars are so different here, much wider. I have always relied on the English of others, and in this rickshaw named Desire, it's no exception. On a concrete rooftop, somewhere off the highway, it is creeping its way towards night when 19-year-old Ravi begs me to write a love letter for him. It is for Neha, the girl he is in love with. She speaks English, he does not, so he cannot explain to me that this is forbidden, that he is already set to marry whomever his parents choose, but certainly someone within the village, and certainly someone within the caste, and certainly not this someone wrapped in yellow silk who smiles up at me from the photograph he shows me. I write it for him anyway. It has something about the moon, some stars in the sky, the way her eyes sparkle, and how he wishes they could be together always. When I finish, he takes the letter from my hands and reads the entire thing out loud. He doesn't understand a single word, but reads diligently and slowly, looking up at me every so often to make sure he is pronouncing the words correctly. When I hear what I have written out loud, the words hang in the air between us like bad breath, and I wish that I could take it back and write it over. I would write, "Dear Neha, be careful about rooftops. Not about how high they are, but about how quickly your heart beats the faster you climb. Ravi's hands are good for climbing. I like the way he stands behind his mother while she's working, not so much to insist on helping her, but just to let her feel his presence in case she needs him to reach for something on a top shelf. I like that he believes in love letters. His pants are a few inches too short. Have you ever come to visit him here? Probably not. The peacocks are enormous. They sound like cats. Nobody seems to pay them very much mind, but the men dance across all the rooftops in the village begging for somebody to notice their tails. Good luck with your secret. Sarah." When Ravi gets to the end of his letter, he reads the words, "I love you." These are words he understands. He smiles, an enormous smile, and bows his head. On the way back to the car, the translator tells me that Ravi wishes to say thank you, and I tell him to tell Ravi good luck, so he does. Ravi places both hands inside the car window onto my own and says, Dhanyabad, thanking me for the love letter over and over, Boho, Boho Dhanyabad. He will never marry her, the translator tells me, after we have been driving in the dark for a few minutes. Yes, I say, but he can love her. It is monsoon season, and I watch as tall street corners become riverbanks and potholes become death traps. Not even the rickshaws are safe. The cobra I met in the orchard behind the lantern shed was much smaller than I'd imagined, but the mangoes were just as sweet. That's probably why, when we cut one open, a spider crawled its way out. It had made its home inside.
Okay, people, it is still very much creative platform, and we're flying high, you know, still flying. And that's the idea. Whatever you do, you should keep flying. You might crumple a little, but don't let nothing hold you down. You've got to find, you know, find your fit and keep flying, baby. Keep flying. If you have to, I mean, at the end of the day, say, you know, fly with those wings of yours. They are completely invisible, but develop those wings and fly as high as possible and never stop flying. And talking about flying right here on the show, it's time for us now to fly onto the streets and onto our segments we call Street Smart. Now, the question we're taking out to the streets today is if you have to go to that romantic place, you know, somewhere, someplace in some parts of the world, where exactly would it be? It might be one or two places. It's left for you to tell me. So where is that place in the world, okay, not just in Nigeria, but in the world, that you so dream of going with that partner of yours? It might be that fantasy you've been waiting. Anything is possible, but you just need to tell us and tell us why. All on to that segment, Street Smarts. Stay with us, people. If you had to go somewhere in the world with that special somebody, you know, what part of the world would you like to go to?
Yeah, the Caribbeans would do. I like the environment, and they have some historical facts I would like to see, and they have the blackish tendencies like the Africans. So I think I will connect well with who they used to be and who they were.
Ooh, the Bahamas. It's a lovely place, beautiful. Just go get soaked up in the beaches, and it's lovely.
I would like to travel at something like London or any place I want. It's not Nigeria.
Take for instance in Nigeria here, I would like to go to Budukatu Ranch. It's a very, very wonderful place to be. And if I want to go travel outside Nigeria, I would like to go to US because I have heard a lot about USA, and it is very, very wonderful place as well.
Oh, Canada. I would love to be in St. John because it's a place I've been dreaming of.
I would like to go to US with my lovely wife. US is a place you can settle there. You settle there without no crisis, you know. The security there is okay.
I will go to US. From the way I heard, you know, that life is, you know, very easy there.
I like to go to London. That's my favorite country.
I think everyone would like to go to Paris, so it will be Paris.
So you're picking Paris?
Definitely.
Why Paris?
Just something nice and sexy about French things, so basically, I think I like Paris.
I would like it to be Australia. I would like it to be Australia because I like the way they do their things, their movie, the way they run their packages, the way the good governance of the country. I would like going to that aspect of the country.
I like to go to Zanzibar because it's a small island surrounded with water, and because I studied history in school, I just really want, and I'm more of an adventure person, so I really want to go there and see what I really read, if it's true. Yes.
It's a little bit of history and romance all joined together. Okay, people, it's still very much, it's still very much the platform of creativity and talking about creativity. It's time for us to go discover more and more amazing treasure. Show is still very much on. It's time for us to bring an amazing, amazing treasure that I found. But the deal is this amazing treasure of ours is pretty young. Young is the word. As young as, I won't be saying it, let him tell you himself. Let's meet him. How are you, darling?
Fine.
What's your name?
John Gray.
John Gray. You have a beautiful name.
Thank you.
How long have you, no, before I ask you that, what exactly is your treasure? What's your talent? What's this thing that you do best?
Dance.
Dance. Okay. So tell us about you dancing. How long have you been dancing?
For 3 years.
For 3 years. That's a long time. How old are you?
6.
Oh, you're 6, so you've been dancing since you were 3. What inspired you?
What inspired me is that when I was young, I always watch videos like the P Square. So when I want to watch them, and I told my mom that I want to be a dancer like them. As I told her, she now said, okay. So she now agreed.
Oh, so at 3 years old, the first persons you saw were P Square, and you must have seen all the dances too. And you liked it and you wanted to become a dancer?
Yes.
Okay. So you still want to be a dancer? Do you think you still want to be a dancer when you're 18?
Yes.
When you're 20?
Yes.
When you're 35?
Yes.
When you're 40?
No.
Now when you're 40. Okay, when you're 40, what do you think you want to be then?
Football.
A footballer. Well, at 40, trust me, I don't think anything will be accepting your 40. That's pretty old age. But let's take it back to dancing, yeah? What do you dance to? Is there a specific music that you dance to? Is it hip-hop? Is it traditional? Is it techno? What is it? Is it slows? Is it ballet? What sort of dance, or music do you dance to?
Hip-hop.
So hip-hop, okay. So how do you constantly stay in touch with your talent?
I constantly stay in touch with my talent by practicing.
Okay. So how many days in the week do you practice?
Every day.
Every day. Pretty interesting. You practice morning, day, night. When do you practice?
In the evening.
In the evening, after school?
Yes.
And after you've done your homework?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You're pretty young. You're 6. Pretty young. But, I've seen you do your thing, and I think it's pretty amazing. Thumbs up and keep going, okay? But just very briefly, is there anything you want to say to somebody out there who's pretty as young as you are, who actually has a passion for dancing?
Yes.
So please, tell us.
I want to say that anybody that is dancing, I want to say that one day is your turn to move forward. And we pray that nobody here will stop in Abuja, that you move forward in Jesus' name.
And I say amen to that. Okay. It is words of encouragement, but pretty much what it's saying is there's always one day, one day of a blasting success that would always come your way. But first and foremost, you've got to keep practicing. You've got to keep doing what you do best. If it's dancing like he does, then brother, keep that passion alive. Sister, keep that passion alive. Just keep that dream alive. That's all that it takes. It's still, it's still creative platform. I don't like when I do that. It's still creative platform, and I'm still here. Stay with me. It's time for the brother, the young brother, to display what he knows how to do best.
Sons of Zion, arise. Are you ready? 'Cause it's time to praise God. Let's go.
Okay, people who finally come to the very end of today's episode, I say to you, thank you, thank you, thank you for just making out the time to get inspired. I want to say to you, like I said earlier on, keep flying, baby, keep flying. Find whatever it is you're passionate about, and fly in it. Find something you're just excited about and fly with it. Find something that you're already doing, but don't just walk with it. You've been crawling, you've been walking, you've been struggling too hard. It's time for you to fly and fly really high. It's got to be that high. Just keep going. Okay. To my crew, Akeem, Made Easy, Agatha, Maggie, I say to you, thank you very much. You guys have been amazing. You're always amazing. Thank you very much. From me to you, I am still Sephiny Smart. And it's time for me to fly and fly out, people. Have a great time. Bye-bye.